A launch that I think kind of sort of caused a commotion. Honestly, you guys, I feel like a lot of brands, a lot of high-end brands specifically, like luxury brands, they are starting to formulate their products to be very, very similar to the Asian market. These look really, really pretty. I want this. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. But again, it brings me back to the question of, is this a palette that I personally am going to be using? Was this a successful curb of the new makeup cravings? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then welcome. My name's Kristina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. And today we are going to be attempting to curb our makeup cravings again. I did this a couple of weeks back, just talking about brand new makeup, all my thoughts on it, all the while putting makeup on to try to quench that thirst for new makeup. And today I thought I would kind of do like a 2-for-1. So I'm going to be talking about all the new makeup that is either launching or has just recently launched, while I do my makeup with a bunch of mainly products that I've received in PR. I thought it would be a great way to talk about new makeup while putting on new makeup and realizing I don't need any more. I don't need any of these launches. Maybe, probably, I don't know. I feel like no one actually needs all this makeup, but it's definitely one of those want type of situations. So we are going to just get started. I feel like I haven't sat down and talked about brand new makeup with you guys in a hot minute. I feel like being away for even a week or two from the beauty space, the beauty community, you miss a lot. I feel like I need to catch up. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to be looking at Trend Mood One's Instagram page. That's where I mainly find out about a lot of launches upcoming or like launches that just happened. I actually received this pH Lip Rehab Therapy Oil from Wonder Skin. It's in the shade Kissed, and it comes out clear, but it is, oh, you can kind of see right there, I guess because I swatched this earlier, but it's one of those pH adjusting lip oils, and I thought I would use this to kind of hydrate my lips because my lips are so dry right now. It changes into kind of a berry tone, which I prefer over a straight up pinky tone on myself. I'm pretty sure that I gave this disclaimer in the last video, but as I've said before, reviewing makeup, talking about makeup is my job. So a lot of times I do end up buying a lot more makeup than I can physically go through by myself. That kind of comes with the territory, you know? If someone or if a bunch of you guys want to see me review any of these products, there's an overwhelming amount of people that want to see a review on it, please leave it in the comments down below and I will definitely consider purchasing it if I'm not already planning on it. So I guess we can start off with the new Summer Fridays Hot Cocoa Lip Butter Balm. It looks like it's coming soon on their website and Sephora. I'm assuming that this is going to be a fall launch or a holiday launch or something, since it is called Hot Cocoa. And I definitely am interested in it, but do I need it? Do I need any of this? No. The answer is no. I have so many of the lip butter balms that I don't need it, you know, but am I interested in hot cocoa? I definitely am. I'm actually more interested in hot cocoa than I was with iced coffee. With iced coffee, actually, when I went into the store and I smelled it and I swatched it for myself, it seemed like it was going to be a lighter nude than what I typically go for when it comes to a lip balm, let alone just a lip color. And it smelled a little bit too strong for myself. I felt like it was something that would end up giving me a headache as time went on and as I had it on my lips. So I definitely passed on the iced coffee one, even though a lot of people were obsessing over it. But this one, I am very curious because I'm assuming it's going to smell like hot chocolate, it's going to smell like cocoa. So I'd like to have it, but I probably won't be running out to purchase it. Oh no, my powder just broke. You guys, my Laura Mercier powder just broke. It was kind of lifted and I had a feeling that it was gonna crack, but I just pushed it down just now and it cracked. This is part of my project pan too, so I don't know how I'm gonna resuscitate this. For my eyeshadow today, I just received this Paleo palette from Clionadh Cosmetics. I love Clionadh Cosmetics. If you guys don't know, it's an indie brand. They have just the most interesting formulations when it comes to eyeshadows. These look absolutely beautiful. I did some swatches and I took some photos of it, trying to really like capture the shades of these. They are so interesting. I love Clionadh's duochromes. I love the shifts in their shimmers. They have a really great strong pigmentation when it comes to eyeshadows, so I'm looking forward to trying this out. I don't know what we're going to be doing with the eyes today. I think honestly I'm just going to kind of go for like a bronzy look. I don't really feel like doing anything too blue or anything like that, so we're going to keep it pretty simple. It's hard for me to focus while I'm like rambling on, so that's another reason why I feel like just sticking to a more neutral eye look might be the best move today. I'm going in with the shade Magma. But speaking of a more neutral eyeshadow look, I have been eyeing Natasha Denona's I Need a Warm palette. Now, there has been a lot of opinions on this palette. Some people are like, why do we need another neutral warm palette? Other people are really excited about it, you know? I have kind of gone back and forth on this. I agree, we do have a lot of neutral palettes out there. We have a lot of warm palettes out there, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people still wear neutral tones, still wear warm tones. You know what I mean? Like, this palette is going to cater to somebody. There's going to be someone out there that this is going to be their holy grail palette and they're going to love it. And, you know, maybe you may not need it, which is perfectly fine, but maybe someone else is going to get a ton of use out of it. Upon first glance at this, I was kind of like, okay, like it's a brown toned, warm toned palette. Like, it looks fine. Everyone seems to be in the same boat where they're like, yeah, I can achieve this look with a bunch of different eyeshadows within my collection, but does that take away from the fact that this is a beautiful palette? No. You know, do I still like the palette? Yeah. And Natasha Denona formulations, we can't deny, are really, really good. Going in with the shade Fossil. Now, I will say for me, it took me a very long time to actually try out Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. I've always heard really great things, but that price point kind of was like holding me back from trying it. And then I had tried it. I got the I Need a Nude palette, and then I also purchased the Face and Cheek palette or something like that, like a couple months back. I did a whole review on it, and I was not a big fan of that palette, to be honest, and it kind of like turned me off from trying more. Like, I really like the I Need a Nude palette. I think the formulations of that palette is a better representation of Natasha Denona's eyeshadow palettes, the formulations of them, you know what I mean? Because everyone loves her palette. So I was like, I'm definitely missing something. So when I tried the I Need a Nude palette, I understood. So it really is the formula that I'm like wanting. There is one duochrome in here called Phenomena, but from the swatches that I've seen, it doesn't seem to be that incredibly shifty or anything. Like, it's nothing like Clionadh Cosmetics shifts and duochromes. I mean, it's in there if you want it, if you want a little bit of spice to spice up your neutral warm brown eyeshadow palette. I'm so on the fence that I'm like, okay, if I'm this on the fence, then maybe it's not worth it. Maybe there is a reason why I'm not running out to buy this, you know? I think a lot of it does have to do with the price. It is pretty pricey. Her palettes are not cheap. That first shade Magma is coming off a lot more orange on me than I anticipated it would. So I'm hoping that I can kind of make this look a little better. So this palette, the Natasha Denona one, is $69. You can get it on sale. Like, you can use your points at Ulta. I was considering doing that if I was going to purchase it. So there are definitely ways that you can get this cheaper, but still at the original price of $69. I think it's something that I will probably pass on unless I just make a spontaneous purchase. Now, another palette that just released is the Nomad Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. It's the Artist Autumn palette inspired by Mount Fuji. This one, the packaging on this looks incredibly beautiful. I love the fall leaves. I love the red tones that are in this. I think that that's super fun. Me personally, I don't know how I would incorporate red really in an eye look. As you can tell, I'm not a very like skilled eyeshadow person. I only hear great things about Nomad Cosmetics. Again, they are an indie brand and they come out with such beautiful palettes. This one is $44. It says it has 15 shades, 9 vivid mattes, 5 luminescent shimmers, and the sparkling diamond Fuji duochrome. I have seen some people online do some reviews, like review videos on this, and it really does look so pretty. For me, I don't really wear blues, I don't really wear yellows, and I don't really wear reds, so I think that this is a palette that I'm most likely going to admire from afar, but that's about the extent of it for me, you know? Like, I don't think that this is something that I personally am going to be able to rock or feel comfortable wearing. Okay, I'm going to take this shade right here in the shade Crater and just put this all over the eye. Clionadh Cosmetics shimmers are just unmatched. They're so good. I can't believe it's taken me this long to actually like start using their eyeshadows. All right, another eyeshadow palette. Are there a lot of eyeshadow palettes coming out right now, or is that just me? Danessa Myricks, they have a palette coming out pretty soon. It says it'll be available September 7th. This palette, oh my gosh, it says it's $128. Is that correct? So this is the Lightworks 6 Freedom palette. If you look at it here on Trend Mood, at first I looked at it and I was like, that's cool, but as I continued to scroll through the photos that were like featured, I really like the concept of the packaging. So it looks like you can actually take this palette apart. You can take it apart in like 6 eyeshadows, and then there's like a metal top on top of the actual cover of the palette that you can remove, and you can use it to magnetically close the top of the palette, and you can also magnetically stack the eyeshadows with other pans of 6. I hope that makes sense because I definitely did not explain that very well. I really like that concept, being able to just completely condense down your eyeshadow palette, especially if you're on the go. I mean, you may not need all 18 shades at one time, you know what I mean? So that's really cool. I think that's very user-friendly. It definitely falls right into the category that all her Lightwork palettes fall into, where it's very colorful. You have a lot of shifty shades. You've got a lot of pigmentation here. It really is an interesting palette to look at. But again, it brings me back to the question of, is this a palette that I personally am going to be using? I don't know. I do have one of her Lightwork palettes. I bought it a few years ago because it was on sale during like Black Friday or during the holidays in general. And I will be completely honest with you guys and say that the most that I have done with that palette is swatch it. I have not actually worn the palette out. I haven't done multiple looks with it. I've used maybe 1 or 2 eyeshadows within a look, but I have never solely used that eyeshadow palette. I think that I definitely was feeling some FOMO. The collector in me wanted to have a Lightworks palette, you know what I mean? And it was the Lightwork palette that really stood out to me, so I purchased it. Knowing what I know now, like in terms of how often I use it, or how often I don't use it, I should say, I don't really think that this is something that, again, I'm really jumping for. I mean, if you are huge on your eyeshadow palettes, I could definitely see you getting some good use out of this, especially if you like to travel with a lot of eyeshadows. I think that this is just such a cool, such a fun concept. They really do have some incredible marketing photos, like the eyeshadow looks that they come out with this palette. Oh my gosh, it looks insane. Like, it's so beautiful. I've always really admired Danessa Myricks and her artistry, and I think that the way that she approaches her makeup line is very artistic, but she makes it really attainable for like the common consumer, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool, and I think that whoever is going to own it is going to be someone that really loves colorful eyeshadows and that's just, I guess that's just not me right now. So I got this primer from What's Up Beauty. It's the Positivity Lightweight Hydrating Face Primer. Fast absorption to extend the wear of your makeup and give your face a fresh, dewy finish. It's a water-based milky formula with no fragrance or tint. Oh no, it says to let it dry for at least 10 minutes. I definitely should have put this on while I was doing my makeup or my eyeshadow. Ooh, it is definitely milky for sure. Feels like a moisturizer. It's not as thin as I assumed it would be when I saw milky. I thought like milky sunscreen type of thing where it was going to be like dripping, you know? It definitely feels like a lightweight moisturizer. That's really nice. You know what I kind of want to layer it with? So I have the Say Super Gel in the shade Rose Glow. They sent this to me right before I had left for my trip and I hadn't gotten a chance to use it. So I'm just going to add a little bit here. I think I'll do like the tops of my cheeks. This definitely has a scent. It kind of smells like rose. So not a big fan of this scent, I will say that. But I love this product. I have like the original shade of this Super Gel and I really like the sheen that it gives my skin. So nice. All right, as I let those primers dry, let's talk about more makeup. A launch that I think kind of sort of caused a commotion was and is the Patrick Ta foundation. This is the new Major Skin Hydra-Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. This one just launched. It says that it's $58. First of all, dang, that's expensive. It comes in 30 shades from fair to deep with different undertones, as it should. I'm not gonna go over the skincare ingredients. You guys can kind of just like look at that if you want to. For me, skincare ingredients, it's great that they have them, but is it gonna really make a difference in the skin? Probably not. First impression, I really haven't seen any reviews. I've seen reviews coming up, but I haven't personally sat down to watch any. It says it's a lightweight and luminous serum inspired ingredient, medium coverage formula foundation, boosts radiance and blurs imperfections, blending beautifully on bare skin. It sounds like it's another dewy formulation, and Patrick Ta actually came out with like a cream foundation a couple years ago, and I never tried it because I heard that for oily skin, like stay away because it was very, very dewy and kind of like greasy on the skin. I don't know. This one, it looks beautiful on the models, of course. It looks like natural dewy skin. But it kind of, to me, sounds like something that is not going to work for my oily skin. It just seems like something that is going to kind of slip and slide on me, you know? And this is based off of no reviews, like watching no reviews, seeing no one really talk about it, like give their final thoughts or anything like that. So I could be completely wrong, but based on the description so far, I'm not really sold. I think that this will be beautiful if you have dry skin, especially with the colder months upon us. Like, I think that this is a perfect time for them to come out with a more luminous, dewy foundation. I think that if they had come out with this at the beginning of summer, it probably would not have been as interesting to as many people. It looks beautiful. Is it going to be my favorite? Probably not. I do really love Patrick Ta's blushes, and his eyeshadows are incredible, but aside from that, I don't think that there's anything really from his line that I am like dying for when it comes to his complexion products. So that's just me. I think just looking at this, if you guys want to know what shade I think I would be, just based on these photos, let's see. I'd probably be 15 golden neutral or 16 peachy neutral. One of those neutral tones for sure. Here's a foundation that I am actually quite interested in. I definitely want to swatch this in stores. It's the LYS Triple Fix Skin Tint Blurring Foundation Stick. So it is another foundation stick, but if I know anything about LYS, it's that they deliver on their complexion products. For me personally, I think that I just user error and I purchased the wrong shade of the cream bronzer because literally everyone loves that cream bronzer. I think that I had gotten a shade too dark, so it was just too difficult for me to work with. But aside from that, the way that this is described, it looks really, really promising. So it has primer power, foundation finish. It delivers a natural veil of coverage that evens out skin tone and enhances radiance. Oh, wait, hold on. It's another radiant foundation. They have 22 shades and this is only $25. That is a way more reasonable price point in my opinion than the Patrick Ta foundation, if I'm being totally honest. I'm just gonna use my About Face foundation today. I really do want to try it out. I feel like I like stick foundations more than I think I do. There's something about the ease of use with it that I just really enjoy. It's nice to just like slap on the skin, you know? My lips have turned very bright. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, this foundation stick just kind of looks like it would give you a nice natural skin finish. It does look slightly more dewy and hydrating in the photos, like on the arm swatches and stuff, but you guys know I do enjoy a more dewy finish anyways. I know that it sounds kind of backwards because I was just saying the Patrick Ta one would probably be too dewy and like greasy for me. I guess I'm thinking of the Patrick Ta one in terms of his last foundation launch, which may not be fair on my end to be judging it on that, but this LYS one, I don't know, I just feel like I have more faith in it. There's something about it that is very, very interesting to me, and I have been wanting to test out more LYS products. I probably won't purchase it soon, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, so I actually got these Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16-hour wear matte concealers in the mail, and these have mineral SPF in them, and I thought that that was really cool. So I just want to test these out. I'm not a big matte concealer girl, but you know, I am not opposed to trying it. So I'm gonna try out the shade Medium 300 Warm. Oh, this might be dark. Hold on. It's a little bit warm, but we'll use it to even out the complexion a little bit more. I'll just do very light amounts of it, and then we'll brighten it up. Okay, I'm back, and that looks really good. It did start to kind of dry down as I was blending it out, but it didn't make it more difficult to blend out, which was a nice surprise. And I feel like it's actually looking really nice on the skin. I don't think that it's overly matte. I feel like I'm still getting a little bit of a nice natural shine on the skin without it adding any like shininess to the skin, you know what I mean? So this looks pretty good. I'm going to actually add the shade Medium 300 Neutral under the eyes just to like brighten it up a bit, because I feel like the warm shade matched a little bit too perfectly. I thought it was going to be too dark, but once I actually started blending it, it worked really nicely. I think that even this shade, Light 255 Neutral, even that might be a good one for me to use under my eyes to like brighten a little bit. That looks really, really good. I'm curious what the flashback is like though, since it's a mineral sunscreen. I'll have to test that out. Anyways, let's move on to a new category of makeup, which is blushes. You guys know I love my blushes. I have so many. I have acquired so many blushes in this last year, like just way too many. So it's hard for me to justify buying any new blushes, but it's also really hard for me to say no to new blushes because I love them so much. It's an addiction, really. That's what I'm trying to say. Guys, that looks good. Wow, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Fenty Beauty, they released new powder blushes. Am I excited? Yeah, I am. The shade Bacon Cakes, that one looks bomb. Like, it looks like such a beautiful shade. It's definitely on that nudie beige side of things that I just love when it comes to my blushes these days. I feel like it's a very universal blush for the types of looks that I do. I mean, it's Fenty Beauty, you know, like they really deliver on pigmentation, on quality of their products. It's an interesting component. I think that it looks really cool, but also I'm kind of like, how would I store that properly in a drawer. That was like the first thing I thought. Dang, I'm really impressed by this concealer. Baking Cakes is probably the only blush shade though that I'm really intrigued by. The other ones I'm like, they look pretty, but also if I'm trying to narrow it down and only look at the shades or only look at the blushes that I really feel like I would wear, Baking Cakes is definitely it. This is not necessarily new, but it's new to me. Milk Makeup sent one of their setting powders. This is the Pore Eclipse Matte Translucent Setting Powder in Translucent Light. So let's try it. I don't think it's brand new. I'm gonna bake with this. Ooh, that's pretty light though. Whoa, that is a heavy duty powder. I can tell already. It really puts down a lot of powder. I hope I didn't mess up. I hope that this is okay. Definitely mattifying though. I don't know if I can use this on my forehead. It might be way too light. I'm pretty impressed by that powder. I feel like my skin looks really, really smooth. It's very, very brightening, very light for my skin tone. However, the actual finish that it left me with, it's beautiful. I really like it. And I think that we can definitely make it a little bit more seamless with some bronzer. Something I kind of overlooked here, the Tom Ford Soft Matte Blurring Powders. These look really, really pretty. This looks like an extremely beautiful blurring powder, but there's only 4 shades, so I'm kind of like, what? Who's gonna wear this? You know what I mean? It looks really nice, but you know, that's kind of a pipe dream of mine because Tom Ford is not in my tax bracket, let me tell y'all. I just thought I would mention it. It looks really pretty. Am I gonna get it? No. No, no, no. I will stick with my Laura Mercier Ultra Blur Cracked Powder that I am loving still. So Caliray actually is coming out with some liquid blushes. They are the Blurry blushes, pore minimizing and hydrating, long wearing, and available in 5 shades. Based on the swatches on their Instagram, it does look like it actually dries down matte. Like it looks almost, if I were to see these swatches, it almost looks like a matte liquid lipstick. I mean, the shades themselves, the first 2 shades, Zen and Dope, they're a nude pink and a rosy mauve. Those definitely seem right up my alley. They seem like something that I would love wearing. They look very, very, very pigmented. Like I'm kind of surprised at how pigmented they are just because I guess I'm comparing it to like the tints that they had prior, the cheek tints, you know, and those you definitely kind of like build up on the skin. I think those are a really beautiful formulation as well. And these seem to be the answer to a more pigmented version of those. I think that this definitely will cater to some. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that finish. Some swatches, like fresh swatches, they look dewy and hydrating, but then on their official Instagram, they have swatches and then they dry down and they look more matte. So I don't know. I think that this is something I would probably want to see in person. I think that a swatch is definitely way more concentrated pigmentation. So maybe once it's blended out onto the skin, it'll still have that more pore minimizing, pore blurring look while still being more on the mattifying side. And because it's more matte, maybe it'll have really good longevity for a liquid blush. So that may actually be pretty ideal for those of us that have oily skin. Speaking of blushes, I actually have some new blushes from Singe Beauty. Singe Beauty sent these to me. And if you don't know, Singe Beauty is actually Angie's brand. And I met Angie during our Creators and Friends trip back in the springtime. And these are her very first color cosmetics, which is really, really exciting. I'm very happy that they reached out and asked me if I wanted to try them out. We have the shade Riveting Rhubarb, this beautiful like pale pink shade, and this really fun yellow. This is Persistent Persimmon. This one I'm very curious about. I'm kind of like, how do you wear this? I've never worn a yellow blush before. I think that it would be something really beautiful mixed together. And then we have the shade Timid Tomato. This is gorgeous. And the shade Risky Raisin, which I think would be the perfect like blush bronzer combination on my skin tone. Today though, the shade that is like really calling to me is Timid Tomato. So I want to try this one out. These are such an interesting formulation because they almost have this sheen to them, but they're not glittery and they don't have actual shine, like shimmer particles in them. They just have this like glow to them. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, can you guys see that on the back of my hand? It looks so beautiful. They seem very pigmented, so we're gonna go in with a very light hand. So just a little bit like that. Well, let me evenly distribute it. There's a little bit of fallout on the pan, so just be careful to make sure that you don't get too much. And then I'm just going to tap it on. I think this is actually going to go pretty well with my shadow, my eyeshadow look. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's incredibly pigmented. I love this shade. Just one tap in again. Dust my brush off. That's beautiful. What the heck? I'm gonna take a little bit off with my little Sigma switch here. I love using this to get shadow, like eyeshadow off, extra blush, extra bronzer off of my brush. And then I'm just gonna use my brush to blend it in. Wow. I haven't worn a reddish powder blush in so long. Should we use a little bit of the yellow to go with like the eye look? I'm scared, but we're gonna do it. So I'm just gonna take the tiniest amount. Oh, that was a lot. Do you see how much that coated the brush? Gonna wipe it off again. Oh, it kind of makes it a little bit more like peachy. It makes that red a little bit peachy. Do you see that? Wow, these are so nice. Great job. Congratulations, Angie and the Singe Beauty team. These are beautiful. The next launch that I want to talk about, did you guys see that Hourglass announced their holiday palettes, their like powder palettes? We have the ambient lighting palettes. They just recently announced this like yesterday, very recently. And of course we have 3 different variations of the holiday palette. The outside packaging looks so pretty. I'm really eyeing that dragon packaging, not even looking at the actual shades, honestly. When I first saw it, I was like, ooh, that dragon, it's so cool. And then the lotus flower, like all of them look incredible. I don't remember exactly how much these retail for. I know that they are definitely very pricey, but Hourglass does have a sale on their site around the holidays. So I would recommend that if you're not in a rush to get these palettes, to just wait for the end of the year sales, you know, that they do. Hold off a little bit and see if they do a sale. Personally, I don't need this. I have 2 or 3 of the previous ambient lighting palettes. If you don't have an ambient lighting palette, I do recommend them. I think that the quality is incredible. It does have the ambient lighting powders as well as the bronzers, and I believe a blush and highlight in there usually. I always go for like the light medium one. Like I know last year I got the Jaguar, and I have this snake palette. I have the elephant palette from a previous year, and they're all very beautiful. So I don't think that you would be disappointed with them. I truly think everyone could benefit from at least having one of the Hourglass ambient lighting palettes, you know, but this year I have, like I said, I have 3 of them, so I really don't need another one, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because they do look very beautiful. Now, we don't know yet if they're like repeat shades from the previous years. However, I will say that last year, one of the palettes was very similar to the year prior. Like they had a lot of repeat shades. I'm pretty sure it was the elephant palette and the leopard, I'm sorry, I said jaguar. The leopard palette, I think, and the elephant palette from the year before that, they were very similar. So I wouldn't be surprised if we are seeing some repeats. I mean, to be fair, Hourglass only has so many ambient lighting shades in their collection anyways, you know, so they can only do so many different variations. I mean, maybe that's something comforting for you, like you won't feel as much FOMO because if you already have one, you won't feel like you need the brand new one, you know what I mean? So for my lips, I actually got this really big package from Lawless, but like in it, it says that these are new satin cream lipsticks, but then I looked and these are not new. Like they've had these satin cream lipsticks for a while now, unless they reformulated it or maybe they added new shades. I'm not quite sure, but they have the lipsticks and then the lip liners here. So I think I'm gonna dive into these. I might as well. Ooh, these are creamy. I did not expect the lip liner to actually be creamy. Like you swatch it and look, there's a little bit of sheen there on the swatch. This is the shade Cinnamon. And then we have the shade Honey Rose. Let's see if I can swatch this. Yeah, why are these so creamy? Oh my gosh. They swatch like a lipstick. And then we have the shade Nude Honey. Okay, so here are the lipsticks that I pulled out. This is Cookie. The one next to it is Soft Truffle. And then we have Fawn, and then we have Morocco. I think I'm gonna go for Cookie because I want to use the lip liner in the shade Cinnamon. So I didn't want to miss out on talking about the Makeup by Mario setting powder, the spray, and the puff. These look really nice, particularly the setting powders. I've heard pretty good things about this actually. Like I've already heard people talking about it as a setting powder and I'm very, very curious. By the way, this lip color is really pretty, especially with the stain that Wonder Skin lip oil left on my lips. That's nice. I truly feel like Makeup by Mario's complexion products, I have really, really loved pretty much all the ones I've tried. So I kind of feel like I am going to really like this setting powder. I would like to purchase it, but honestly, I have a lot of setting powders that I'm currently going through anyways, and I have a lot of staples already. So it's not really like I'm in the market for a new one. I'd like to add to the collection. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I would definitely like it. I would be surprised if I didn't like the setting powder, to be honest. I know a lot of people in the beauty community are grieving the Givenchy Prisme Libre reformulation, but I've heard that Makeup by Mario is a really good alternative so far. So maybe check that out if you are in the market for a brand new setting powder. The YSL Ink Vinyl Creams, these look beautiful. I love this packaging. I think it's so cute how they have the heart on the corner of the packaging, you know, and it's like a window so you can see the actual shade. Now I'm looking at this and honestly, you guys, I feel like a lot of brands, a lot of high-end brands specifically, like luxury brands, are kind of starting to hit the Asian market when it comes to lip products. Like they are starting to formulate their products to be very, very similar to the Asian market. Like I feel like there are tons of glossy lip stains, a ton of lip glosses in general that K-Beauty and J-Beauty already have that are similar in formulation, where it's this dewy kind of film of hydration on the lips, like a mirror shine as they're marketing it. So I don't feel like, to me personally, this is going to be something that is a completely innovative formula. If you are not familiar with a lot of Asian lip products, then I think that you would really like it because I really enjoy those types of formulas. Now, again, I want to give the disclaimer that I could be completely off on the formulation of these. They could be 100% different. Okay, I topped it with the shade Fawn as well. This is kind of slippery. I hope it stays. I don't know how this longevity would be throughout the day. I'm not going anywhere tonight, so I'm not really worried. Like, it looks really pretty, but I don't know how this would wear, like if I were wearing this out, you know? Okay, last product I want to try is this new Milk Makeup Matte Setting Spray. The Pore Eclipse Matte Setting Spray. They also sent this in the same package that they sent the powder in. Let's see what this spray is like. Okay, pretty fine. Oh, it just spit a bunch of product. Yikes. No scent to it, which is great. Okay, only like 2 more things that I want to touch on before I let you guys go. Actually, no, there's only one more thing that I want to talk about. It is the Rare Beauty Only Murders in the Building collab. I want this. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I want this. My brother-in-law and I have been watching this show since, when was it? Since the beginning of August, we started watching this, and I am obsessed with this show. I think it's incredible. It is so good. It's so entertaining. We are on the new season, so we're watching it as the weeks go by, you know, and I wish that they would release more than one shade. Or one shade, what am I trying to say? I wish that they would release more than one episode a week, but they are not. So it's called the Meba Mora's Go-To Duo. It's $30 and you get the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush in the shade Resilience, which is a set exclusive. And then you get the Soft Pinch Tinted Lip Oil in the shade Delight. I really like the shade Delight. I still have mine, but mine's probably expired by now, you guys. I still have the original lip oils that I had swatched in my big swatch video back when they first released, so I'm sure that it's no longer good. So I could use a replacement. And it also comes with the mini puffy tote keychain in the shade Merlot. Oh wait, sorry, it doesn't come with it. You can buy the mini puff tote keychain for $15. I would not be surprised if the blush in the shade Resilience ends up becoming a permanent shade. They tend to do that. They tend to come out with limited edition or set limited shades, but then later on they do end up releasing it if it does well, or just in general, maybe they already had the plan to do that. This looks like a very, very beautiful shade. It definitely looks like something right up my alley. Once again, it's kind of like this deeper nudie beigey peach shade, I want to say. It just looks gorgeous and I really do want it for the package. I know that it's just a cardboard box, but I love the show and I think it'd be fun to have the mini puffy tote, you know, like the little keychain. I think that's so cute. Is it necessary? No. And am I going to die if I don't get this collab? No, I will not, but this is definitely something that, if you guys can't tell, I am excited about. So I didn't do my hair. This is like freshly washed hair, so it's gonna look pretty crazy, but this is our finished makeup look, you guys. I actually really, really like the way that it turned out. I surprisingly matched the blush and the eyeshadow pretty well. I don't usually do that, you guys probably know. This Clionadh Cosmetics palette, gorgeous. I definitely want to play with the blues that are in here because there's a whole row of blues, so I have to play with them. You know, these have such beautiful shifts. Like, if you haven't tried Clionadh Cosmetics eyeshadows yet, you guys need to. I get questions all the time about the duochrome shifty eyeshadows because I've worn them a few times in my videos and I think that they are the best. These blushes, the Timid Tomato and Persistent Persimmon that I use, gorgeous. I love the natural sheen that it added into my skin. You guys know that I love more of a natural dewy finish, so having the mattifying properties of the Milk Makeup Powder, I was a little nervous, but I will say my pores look super blurred and my skin looks pretty much airbrushed where I put that powder. It looks really, really good. Very, very impressed with the concealers. I did not expect to enjoy these as much as I do, and these are huge, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell. Compared to my Kulfi concealer, that's how much bigger the unit is. It's pretty massive. These are pretty good, but I do worry about the longevity of them, both the lip liners and the lipsticks. I think for the majority of the video, I was saying pretty much no to like all of the new makeup, was I not? I think that I only have like 2 or 3 things that I'm still debating on possibly getting. Was this a successful curb of the new makeup cravings? I hope so. I think it was. Fingers crossed you guys don't end up seeing the products that I talked about in this video later on. Like, I ended up getting it, here's my review. But if you do, don't judge me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.